Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here, and we're doing another 8-4 Dragons of Tarkir draft. Okay, not taking the rare here. Radiant Purge, not an exciting pick. Kind of an underwhelming pack in general, to be honest. Foul Tongue Invocation is an uncommon removal spell, and it actually looks like it might be the best. Otherwise, I can take Dutiful Attendant, which is good with blue-black exploit or exploit cards in general. Savage Ventmaw, which is a big flyer, but it's a two-color card, and it's not the most exciting first pick. Sandcrafter Mage is actually fine. Maybe I could take that instead of the Foul Tongue Invocation, but Invocation being an actual removal spell is probably okay, or maybe a little bit more exciting. Ojutai's Breath is a fine card too. I don't really like it as a first pick. Um, Maybe my best odds is just taking the Dutiful Attendant, and since it works synergistically the best, like Foul Tongue Invocation is a fine card, seeing as how it's removal and all, but Dutiful Attendant actually being, a good combo sort of card. Not combo, synergistic card. I like to say that more. With Exploit, maybe makes it the more attractive pick. Here I think we're just slamming an ultimate price, which I have not even seen yet in 13 drafts or something. Maybe I have seen it, I just can't remember seeing it. I like the Seismic Rupture too, but gotta stay on color, see what's open. Avatar the Resolute is a good card too. I played that and liked it, but I like Ultimate Price more. And I like Ultimate Price more than Flatten. It's a little bit unfortunate they're in the same pack, but it's certainly not unfortunate that I'm getting an Ultimate Price. Okay. Um, what cards do I like the most in here? Kind of missing on black a little bit. I like Press the Advantage. That's a great combat trick. Tread Upon is fine. I think Mischief Kieran's the best card in this pack, and I certainly don't feel like taking a Carsey Sadist. I think I'm just going to take the best card, which I think is Mischief Kieran, despite the fact that I'm going black-white again, just like my last draft. I think I'd rather have a flyer than... I actually think Press the Advantage is a pretty good combat trick. I could see a pretty solid argument for taking that. But I also like having a morphing flyer. Maybe I like Press the Advantage more. Maybe I'm underrating this. +2/+2 and trample. My my gut still said the Kieran, but Press the Advantage does seem like a pretty powerful effect. Okay, options now are Hand of Silumgar. Volcanic Vision is, in fact, a card, but I'm sure it actually works fine with black. It's expensive, but it's a powerful effect. It's kind of like a bonfire effect. Hand of Silumgar seems like the safest pick. I'm like 100% playing it. It's cheap. It's a warrior. It's got Death Touch, I think, most importantly. There's a dragon in here too, which is fine. I think I'm just going to go Hand of Silumgar. All right. Well, someone did mention in the comments that they think pacifism is weaker now, which I think is true because you have the exploit strategies. I still think it's a powerful enough card to take it over, say, Vial of Dragonfire or something like that. I do have a Sidisi's Faithful, which is a blue card that works well with Dutiful Attendant, but it's not exactly a card that makes me want to go into blue. Display of Dominance, destroy a blue or black permanent, non-creature permanent, or permanents you control can't be the target. Yeah, it's pretty good. I think it's like one of the least exciting of that cycle. There's also a Conifer Strider. I'm going to take the Pacifism. I think it's the strongest card still. Even granted that it likely got weaker. Alright, Tarka Efreet's in here. Second Pacifism. Here's the thing about Pacifism. If you play it on a big fat creature and they exploit that creature away, it's not like the worst thing in the world for you. You know what I mean? You still took care of the big creature. The only places pacifism really sucks is creatures that have insane activated abilities and decks with, I guess, a lot of bounce or exploit. So even though it is weaker against exploit, it's not like it's a dead card against exploit. It's still taking care of something. It's just giving them some form of value off of it. I like the Tarkir free too, but I'm going to take the pacifism. Okay, duress is an option. 2 monuments that are pretty cool. Fairly late Dragon Scarred Bear. Maybe I can splash pacifisms. It's possible. Otherwise, duress is pretty good. I could probably main deck duress too. Dragon Scarred Bear is not like the most exciting green card. It's fine. I guess I'll go duress. Okay. Now there's Graceblade Artisan. Don't have any auras yet, though. Well, no, I mean, we do, but not anything I want to put on a Graceblade Artisan. But maybe I can still go that direction. Otherwise, Tread Upon, which isn't a highly motivating green card. It's a fine combat trick, but not, like, insane. And the blue cards. Nothing else is super exciting in here. I guess I'll take the Artisan. It's a pretty reasonable uncommon. Unsurprisingly, tabled Radiant Purge. Let's take the Evolving Wilds. This seems like a good opportunity for it. I'm not giving up much. There is an Ojutai's Breath, which is a good card, but... And Sprinting Brute, which is pretty good. War Brute is pretty good too. I'm going to just take the Evolving Wilds and see if we maybe end up 3-color, perhaps. All right. Tabled Seismic Rupture. Could be red is the direction we want to go for tabling that. Yeah, we saw the late Efreet and Warbird. Okay, I guess I'm ready to go red. And Seismic Rupture is a pretty powerful card in general. Okay, this is pretty good. I guess we'll take Lose Calm. It's fine with Exploit, I guess, but I'd have to get some cheap black Exploit to make that work. Let's take Tormenting Voice. If I end up playing red, I'm going to want it. It kind of feels like at this point I'm likely just going to be either... I mean, it seems like I'm going to be 3-color, but if I'm going to be 3-color, I'm more likely to splash the white, since that seemed to flow not as readily. I'm fine splashing pacifisms, but because even late game, just slamming it on a big guy and being able to get in is pretty huge. Ooh, Crater Elemental's a good open if I want to go more red, which I kind of do. Crater Elemental's going to be the better option. So we're not looking beatdown. I do kind of have to establish what kind of game plan I want. I can be the removal deck. I definitely like pacifism less in the removal deck. I think pacifism is going to shine in this format in an aggressive build. It's going to be pretty difficult to be a 3-color aggressive deck. We also have Seismic Rupture, which is another way to... another sort of control card. Not an aggressive card, but Crater Elemental is a fine control card, I think. So I can take that here. And it's like just removal as well as a finisher. It's a very versatile card, and I feel like versatility is exactly something this mess of cards we currently have needs. So let's take the Elemental. I mean, it could just end up being, wow, get past the Sidisi and an ultimate price? What did they take out of here? Just a common, huh? Sidisi, slamming it, playing it. Yes, I'd like ultimate price too, but it's pretty tough to deny 5 mana, 4/6 Death Touch with demonic tutor built in. I mean, that's pretty insane. All right. Target player draws X cards and loses X life. I haven't played this one yet. It seems okay. You gotta pay. So if I pay like 5 mana, I draw 3, lose 3? I feel like that's, I mean, it's good. I feel like it's a bit of a liability. Otherwise, what though? I take like a Kolagon Monument? I could take a Monument. I'm okay with that. Works double time as fixing as well as ramping. I don't have anything else that costs me life, though. I'm okay trying Damnable Pact, I think. Let's ditch out of the Graceblade Artisan plan. Let's start to just solidify ourselves into red-black. I think that's where I ultimately want to be. But red-black's usually a dash deck. All right, a Tarka Efreet's huge. It's a great pickup here. I'm going to take it over the third pacifism. Just works so well with like Crater Elemental, other formidable cards we could have. So, all right. I'm cool with that. Dragon Tempest. Whenever a creature with flying enters the battlefield under your control, it gains haste. Whenever a dragon enters the battlefield under your control, it deals X damage. Okay. Don't have that many dragons. In fact, I would say we have a grand total of 0 dragons. So that's not going to work. What else is there? There's a Wandering Tomb Shell, which this might actually be a deck for more control, something to block with. Could also take the Surge of Righteousness for sideboard, which actually doesn't seem bad. It's also good against us. It seems like a pretty good control card, I would say, actually. But white being on the splash makes it slightly more awkward. But Wandering Tomb Shell is kind of a turd. Like, I'm really hoping that I can find better than that, you know what I mean? And I don't want to go deeper white. Evolving Wilds is going to help me splash for the pacifisms, but that's all I care about. I'm going to take Surge of Righteousness. We can take a second Evolving Wilds. Otherwise, I'm taking Duress or Wandering Tomb Shell here. I think we'll take second Evolving Wilds. I'm fine with that. We're a little bit slower, so having fixing for 3 color I think is going to be most helpful. Defeat versus Dutiful Attendant number 2. Defeat is removal, but we're currently pretty short on creatures. I like that Dutiful Attendant can get back some pretty powerful cards in Crater Elemental, Sidisi, a Tarka Efreet. I actually think Defeat's an okay card, but there's been times where I've been pretty unhappy with it. And like I said, we're a little bit short on creatures. I want to up my creature count, and I do think Dutiful Attendant can be really good, especially alongside Sidisi or any future exploit I get. All right, a second Lose Calm doesn't seem that great in this build, since Lose Calm's more of like an aggressive card or a card that works with exploit, which seems like neither of the decks that we are. Let's take the Vial of Dragonfire, which is not great, but playable removal. I don't think we need a second Tormenting Voice. I feel like we're getting cut on our colors now, unfortunately, but I don't want to take a 2-drop in white or a 2-drop in blue, really. I guess we'll take the Idol. It's playable. I don't really want a second Tormenting Voice either so much. All right, Deadly Wanderings. This actually seems like a Deadly Wanderings deck now that I think about it, because we just don't have many creatures. And if I have like 1 out, Tarka Efreet with Deadly Wanderings, yeah, let's take it. I think if any deck was going to be a Deadly Wanderings deck, this is probably it. A lot of removal with... I actually really like it with Dutiful Attendant. And Dutiful Attendant does go infinite with itself. So I have 1 Attendant out. I keep attacking with Deadly Wanderings. Whenever they kill it, get my other one back. Repeat. Funny enough, I guess. All right, second Vial. Certainly not as exciting as the first, which is already not exciting. So a couple unexciting pickups there. But, I mean, we're going to have enough for a deck. I think I just was late into what I wanted. I don't really care about any of these. I guess we'll Hated Tread Upon, which can be an annoying trick. All right, tabled the Wandering Tomb Shell. Gate Smasher works with not enough creatures. Works well with the Deadly Wanderings, but that's just too many cards required there. I need a 4 toughness thing as well as Deadly Wanderings out to make that work. All right, explosive, whatever. All right, so we're looking a bit janky, but I think we can still make this come together, and at least our double Evolving Wilds seems actually beneficial in this deck, as well as a few... Ooh, well, Shaman of the Great Hunt's pretty strong. Problem is we can't use its Ferocious. God, that is a strong Ferocious. But, I mean, you gotta take it anyway. Look at that. It's a mythic. It's probably worth something too. Otherwise, Elite Scale Guard actually is a fine splash too. I guess that's the benefit of having double Evolving Wilds and being in 3-color. You're open to more picks, which is actually really nice. But yeah, I mean, we'll take Shaman of the Great Hunt, regardless of whether you're an aggro deck or not. Shaman's great, so we'll take it. So, like I said, typically when you're in red-black, you're doing a dash deck. We have like no dash, which means I think someone else is playing a red-black dash deck, which is okay. I mean, it just means I think we're just playing a red-black control deck, which is weird, but passable. I mean, I'm trying to think what our deck like absolutely needs. It basically, I mean, because we do have removal and we have, you know, pretty good rares actually. Sidisi, Shaman, Crater Elemental. So interesting. I can take the Emissary, which is probably a better control card, less color intensive than Mardu Scout. I can take the Sandblast, which is fine on the splash. Maybe I just take another removal spell. Because with Deadly Wanderings especially, I'm going to want to be more heavy on removal, less heavy on creatures, I'm pretty sure. So I don't really like the Mardu Scout pick here, just because I've already got some issues making all of our colors work. So really it's Emissary versus Sandblast. I think if I had more Exploit, I'd probably just slam the Emissary. But I'm actually, I think Sandblast is a card worthy of splashing for. So I'll take it. All right, Executioner is a good card. Certainly good with the Dutiful Attendant, so I think that's what's going to ultimately get at the edge here. And as someone wisely mentioned, Harsh Sustenance is weird colors, being that it's black-white, so there's probably always a chance that it tables, or consistently tables. So even picking, I think before they mentioned I should have picked Douse and Gloom over it, because Harsh Sustenance is more likely to table, which is probably just true. But here I'm slamming Executioner because I actually really like it in this deck with double Attendant. Especially even Attendant dying to get me an Executioner back to remove more. I think Executioner is just going to be a great addition to this deck. So Vanguard's an option. Heel Cutter's pretty amazing in general. There's also Scoured Barrens, which another way to splash for the white, but I'm good with double Evolving Wilds. We only have 3 white cards anyway. I think we just want the Heel Cutter. Still not very beat down, I admit, but no creatures on board, Deadly Wanderings with Heel Cutter is pretty cool, actually. I mean, it's just far and away the best card in here. I certainly don't want to play against it. So let's just take it. All right, Bathe seems like the correct option if we want to be the removal deck, which I'm pretty certain that we do. I also don't think we have to play 18 lands with this deck because even though we're 3-color, we have a low curve. And we have Tormenting Voice and Damnable Pact as some card draw too. But yeah, I guess we'll just take the Bathe over the Gore Swine. Actually, Angler would be pretty good too. Although it doesn't have the best synergies with Dutiful Attendant. Let's just take the Bathe. I'm okay with that. So, cards I'd like to cut. Alright, I guess we can take Windscarred Crag at this point since we actually have a deck. And I'm not passing anything I care about. Yeah. Monastery Siege is a pretty good card actually, but I don't need any of these. I could take Boom Keg, but I think we're good on removal. Maybe I probably just hate pick. Siege is pretty awesome card actually. It's like the blue version of the red outpost. You don't get to net card advantage necessarily, but you do get to feed Delve, which is pretty good. All right, we'll hate the Siege. Teamer Battle Rage. This doesn't really strike me as a deck that wants it. Could take the Sibsig Host as like a blocker, I guess. I suppose. I probably don't end up playing it though. So maybe I just hate pick like a Sage or something. which can be good. Maybe I just hate the Battle Rage. Possibly sideboard it if I'm feeling spicy. All right. Fierce Invocation seems like another fine 5-drop. I might actually play it. Arishan Cleric seems pretty awkward on the splash. Although it's kind of cool in this deck since it gains me life, which buys me time and feeds my Damnable Pact and survives Seismic Rupture, which is actually reasonable. But yeah, on the splash, Arishan Cleric does not feel so good on the splash. I think I'll take the Fierce Invocation. I don't need any of these. I think I'm just going to hate the Sage, which can be an annoying 2-drop in the right deck, an exploit deck, for example. Second Fierce Invocation or Arishan Cleric. I probably don't need a second one. I guess I'll take the Cleric. Like I said, I don't think I splash for it, but I want that option there. I may. None of these cards matter. Guess I'll take the Ambush Grotique. Enhanced Awareness is the most playable of those. Skullkeeper is the most playable of those. All right, well, I felt like red-black were the colors we were supposed to be in. We did get past Sidisi, and I mean, this was just a strange draft. I think I needed to pull the trigger on red earlier. I did pull the trigger on red, and it worked out reasonably well, but there's definitely some issues this deck has, not the least of which is we're low on creatures. I think I'm probably going to end up cutting Duress main deck. I like it more sideboard, since we already are good on the removal front. And I need at least some creatures to kill my opponent, because I really don't have that many. But like I said, this is absolutely a Deadly Wanderings deck. With this low of a creature count, I'm going to want as many as I can. Actually, even Crater Elemental's pretty awesome with the Deadly Wanderings, since it deals damage, so it could have Death Touch if it's the only one. But other than that, it's a 2/6 Death Touch lifelink body, which is also really good. I don't have other creatures, I guess. So 12 creatures with Fierce Invocation, which is a low count. But like I said, you don't exactly want a high land count when you're running Deadly Wanderings. So Pacifism's going to be, significantly worse against the exploit decks. But I did explain it before. If you put Pacifism on a big fat dragon and they exploit their big fat dragon away, I'd still say you got rid of a big fat dragon. So you did okay. You didn't really you didn't hurt yourself too bad there. You took care of the threat at hand. I mean, this deck's okay. We have a lot of removal, which is good. We have likely enough ways to win, but that's actually debatable. I mean, it's pretty tough to get a Crater Elemental online, ferocious or formidable wise in this deck. So what are our actual finishers? A Tarka Efreet, that's not a great one since it has to connect. Shaman of the Great Hunt. Yeah, I mean, it's reasonable. I think we're just short on ways to win, which is certainly an issue. Sidisi is like the main one. Fierce Invocation as a finisher. That's kind of sad. So yeah, this deck's got some pretty big holes in it. I got to rate it pretty low, unfortunately. We're just short on actual ways to kill our opponent, which is a big problem. We have removal for days. We have card advantage. It's pretty much, I think we're hoping to win through a Deadly Wanderings, to be honest. I think that's our main road to victory is going to be paved through a Deadly Wanderings and some creature. Like Dutiful Attendance going infinite. I mean, yeah. So this deck's definitely got some holes, but I got to run it like this. I don't really have a choice. I don't have any other cards I can run. I mean, I could do Duress over like a Pacifism, or not over a Vial. I mean, since double Vial is kind of weirding me out. All right, I think I can get behind that. Because we still have Ultimate Price, Vial, Double Pacifism, Sandblast, Executioner, Bathe, Seismic Rupture. That's it. That's still a good removal package. Okay, so I got to rate this deck low. I'd probably only put it at about 5 out of 10, which is pretty low. That's about as low as my decks get, to be honest, but it's just not a particularly good deck. I mean, our 3-color plan worked out fine because of Double Evolving Wilds Windsguard Crag, and I mean, we got some rares that are actually powerful. Like, I love Sidisi, I love Shaman of the Great Hunt, and I love Crater Elemental. So all 3 of our rares are very good and playable. Even Damnable Pact, I feel like in this deck is reasonably playable. If I had more life gain, I'd probably like it more. But yeah, I don't know what to say. It's just short on creatures, which I said is still okay because we have Deadly Wanderings, but we're short on good finishers, and I think that's ultimately going to cost us in the end. But I mean, I'm going to try my best here, of course. So mostly black and red and splash white, which we assume 3 planes seems very excessive. We already have 3. I think we could very easily get away with just 1. And then if we up this is like 9 black, 9 red, and 4 white. It's not bad. 9, 9, 4. Maybe I actually drop this to 8 and I go up to 5. I want to be able to pacify or sandblast early. And 8 reds still seems like more than enough to consistently hit our red mana. Okay. All right. Yep, so I'm rating this deck low. It's only a 5 out of 10. But guess we've got some cards that help us survive, so we'll see how well those work for us. But yeah, I'm not feeling great about this draft deck. So, all right, we'll see you round 1.